Welcome to the second episode of the WPL Drift series. Before we start, like and subscribe to the channel and push that bell button. It really helps the channel to grow up, and thanks for the people that starting coming over. So in this video, what we are going to do, I'm going to show you how to do the camber and the caster and the tow out in order to drift. I already did that, but I'm going to explain you how to do. So first things first, we remove the cap and the lights as you saw in the previous video. So it's really simple to make your WPL be stands like this. So you go here on the upper arms and you twist them to the right. You don't need to cut these things over here because I saw some people cutting this plastic, but it's not necessary because when you twist it on, it's gonna go inside. When you do this, the wheels are going to be something like this, crazy out, toe out. So then what you have to do to adjust the toe, you have to go toe out in order to have a better drift. You go over here and you remove these plastics behind. If you don't have a millimeter measurement or you can't measure, I suggest you do what I did. I remove those two outs and I put them on top the left one, on bottom the right one. So I make sure they have the same distance, and the identical toe out that I did, it's this one. So the toe goes a little bit like this, not very much. And if I turn the wheels, you can see how much steering angle we get. So there is not specific way, you have to adjust it and make sure where you want. Also, if you put the two small bolts over here in the top of the lower arm, the hex 3mm if I'm not mistaken, you can also lower your car and make it go down. I'm not gonna do this for now, I'm gonna stay with the current height. Later, if we put a brushless motor, and I'm gonna also change the lower arms because they have this shape over here. They goes like a half moon, and I don't like this. We have to be totally straight to have a better position. Now what we are going to do on this episode. These are the 1 to 10 wheels that I showed in the previous video. So here I made some custom bolts because there's no local RC here in my city that makes drift cars. So I make those screws. I cut them and I measure them to hold the adapters with the wheels. Now we have to drill also the inside because when you order this from Banggood, they don't fit. They say that they are 5 to 12 hex, but they don't work well because this shape here where the wheel touches on the WPL, it's not straight, so it doesn't fit. So I had to drill the wall in order the wheels to go inside. I don't want the real wheels when I put them on to rubber over here in the track, and also I don't want to cut this piece for now, so I'm gonna lift the rear end a little bit, and unfortunately I have to cut this plastic over here in order to fit the 1 to 10 wheel. I know that maybe I regret it, but that's okay because I'm gonna use also the smaller wheels, and I also like these wheels. It will make it look like a honk, but that doesn't care, this is my personal taste. In order to lift the rear end, we do the simplest thing you can do. We're gonna remove the suspension, and this plastic over here that sits on the bottom of the rear axle, we are putting it on top. So when you do this, the axle is gonna come right here and it's gonna give height to our rear end. Simple as that. The rear suspension is now off. So remember how you remove this and put every part in its position in order to make it good back together. If we put double the lifts, it's gonna be a lot higher. So we're gonna start with one lift to lift it, and if the height is not enough, we're gonna put also the other one. And here we have the lifted part, and here it's the original one. Now we're gonna take also this one and put it over here, and we're gonna mount to see how high this will go. Let's see the height. I twist it over and boom, this is how it sits. This is how it's gonna look. We remove one leaf over here because it was too high, and we are staying on one leaf. Now we are in better place. Yes, it sits lower than before, and if I put the 1 to 10 wheel, now we are perfect and we are not going to rub. First test with lifted ash. We open the hole in a point that it's very decent, so it sits somewhere over here, and if I put down the RC, it's gonna be over here. So I'm gonna unbolt the wheel from the adapter, I'm gonna screw the adapter on the track, and then we have our first 1 to 10 wheel on our RC. Now the wheel is stable, and we have officially our first drift wheel on the track. After we put our two 1 to 10 wheels on the rear end, let's go outside and try the difference. First test with the drift wheels, and it's raining outside. Okay, we have to change the front wheels too, because the front now have traction and the rear don't have. But now it drifts as it should. Now we're gonna screw our front right adapter, and then we'll mount them directly together. So we screw first one side, second the other side, to be completely straight. Let me see, yes, that's on a very good position. Our first front wheel adapter is on, so we're gonna mount our new wheel into the car, and there you have it. Our first front wheel 1x10, it's now in our RC. And now we have to see how much we have to cut from our cab. So it goes until here, so we have to drill this part over here. And before we continue, I'm gonna start modifying the body frame in order to fit the wheel. Over here, okay, let's remove this part, and I'm gonna now make it with a round shape. And this, my friends, is how much you have to cut in order the 1 to 10 wheels to fit on the car. So that's why a lot of people put the fenders on YouTube, because they have to cover all this cut area. And now the wheel passes on the plastic so we can turn. So let's make the other side, put our last wheel on, and our drift project is coming to a nice way. We finally modified our last adapter here, so it's time to put the last drift wheel on our RC. Also, I cut the arches over here in the body. I didn't show you because it's a boring procedure, but this is how much you have to cut. You have to reach until the door in order for the 1 to 10 wheel to can fit inside. So let's put our last adapter. Let's put it. Need a little bit of hammer. In order to finish this video, let me tell you my experience. When you put 1 to 10 wheels, you have to cut a lot in the front. That's why many people put the fenders, as I can see on YouTube. Secondly, I put these adapters which didn't fit as they should, neither came with bolts for the wheels as they should. We put them on, the wheel don't rub after the cut we did, so it works perfect. Let me tell you my conclusion. So a lot of people, I can see that they put the smaller wheels and not the 1 to 10 scale, because it looks like a little big honk. I don't care, that's my personal taste, and I like how it turned out. This is how much angle we managed to do. The wheels came very nice, although we had to cut half of the plastic here, but we're gonna put fenders at some point, or a body kit.